What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in this week's LEGO video I am going to be showing off my entire LEGO minifigure collection, which includes the minifigures in the shadow boxes as well as all of the minifigures that I have displayed with my LEGO sets. Quite literally every single minifigure I have will be showcased in this video. So let's just go ahead and get straight into it. We're going to start off with my LEGO Star Wars minifigure collection. Alright, so first off with my Star Wars LEGO minifigure collection, we're going to take a look at my two shadow boxes. And the first one we'll look at as my favorite out of the two is the prequel one, and I've got some rare minifigures like Dooku, Grievous, and Ventress. And then I also have most of the main Jedi that we see in the Clone Wars TV show, as well as the prequel movies. I've also got Captain Rex, who's another kind of rare one, and I think this is honestly one of my more expensive shadow boxes that I have in my collection. I estimate the value to be like around $1,000, maybe more, and then right next to it I have my original trilogy minifigure shadow box. And we have some Imperial troops as well as some of the named bounty hunters that we see in Empire Strikes Back. And then I've also got some of the main protagonists from the original trilogy, as well as some of the characters from Star Wars Rebels, which are probably some of my favorites in this entire shadow box. As Star Wars Rebels is very underrated. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But this shadow box I feel like is also fairly valuable. Not as valuable as the prequel one, but still really cool in my opinion. And what's also great about these minifigure displays is with this LED remote, they are actually able to light up, which makes them look way better on display. I love the LED lights, it really makes the minifigures pop. And then also on my desk I have this Aunt Beru and Luke Skywalker minifigure, and then we have the minifigures from the Tantive 4 LEGO set also displayed on my desk. And then inside my closet I've got a few clone troopers from that new kind of Phase 1 battle pack, and then also this is my bin where I store most of my extra LEGO minifigures, and one of the drawers, actually the very bottom one, is dedicated to my Star Wars minifigure collection. And these are just all the extras that I don't really have space for right now. And there's a bunch of like clones, Jedi, side characters and stuff. And there's also a few accessories included here. Most of them are just blasters, lightsabers, and like some of the new visors. And here's everything all organized inside of that first bin drawer. And this first drawer here, we can see some of the Old Republic minifigures, as well as some from Mando, and then we've got some Episode 1 minifigures, as well as a few battle droids as well. Battle droids are really cool. I definitely have a bunch of those. And then we move on to some of the sequel trilogy minifigures with the Sith Troopers, as well as some of my Imperial Army. We've got some Stormtroopers. My favorite's probably the Jump Trooper, and we also have a few Rebel Troopers as well. And then this next row has some minifigures like Bib Fortuna, some of my Gungans, and it also has some of my favorite minifigures, actually the holiday ones. Those are always kind of funny to look at. And then we've got some more droids in this next row, as well as a Geonosian, which underrated minifigure. Love the Geonosians. And we've got a few Jedi and Sith minifigures. And then towards the back we have more Clone Wars and Episode 1 minifigures as well. Gotta love the Clone Wars faces. They are definitely a little unique. And then in the very back, I've got some clone troopers as well that I just don't have space for in my collection. And then there's also a few other battle droids here too. And then that's like the entire display. And then of course, we gotta knock them down. And then there's everything back in the bin, all sorted out again. And I also have a few minifigures in my city too that are Star Wars. If you look closely, you can see a Jawa and a Rebel Fleet Trooper inside of the Palace Cinema. We've got some Stormtroopers and Vader and Luke, and then we've also got Indiana Jones and Han Solo, as well as Mando and Grogu, waiting in line to buy movie tickets, which I thought was a funny little Easter egg. And then we've got 3PO and R2-D2 inside of the LEGO City, and also a lone battle droid. But most of my Star Wars minifigures are actually displayed with their sets, and the first shelf we'll look at has the Kenobi Duel minifigures, as well as the Duel Mustafar minifigures, and all of the minifigures from the Darth Vader's Castle set. And then above that I have my 501st Army, which includes the original 501st Battle Pack as well as the new one. We've also got General Grievous' Starfighter minifigures, as well as minifigures from last Summer Wave and the year before it with the Bad Batch attack shuttle. And then right above this we have Anakin and Yoda from the Galaxy Atlas. And then we kind of have a Season 7 of Clone Wars display with these minifigures. We've got another 501st clone, and then we've got the new minifigures from the Fang Fighter, as well as Ahsoka and Maul. And then it's kind of hard to see because of the sunlight, but we do have this Darth Maul Mandalorian, which looks pretty cool. And we've also got a few on this shelf as well. And then this top one has some of my kind of antagonists from the Clone Wars and the original trilogy, or not original, prequels. So we've got some bounty hunters, some droids, and we also have the minifigures from Cad Bane's Justifier, as well as this one lone battle droid inside of the AAT. And then this top shelf has some of the Wookiees and Kashyyyk minifigures from Episode 3. I really like this display, and I love the minifigures in this. And we've also got some of the minifigures from the Clone ATTE, and then the Ewok Village minifigures, which are very rare and probably some of my favorites from the original trilogy. I love all of the minifigures inside of this set. There's so many good ones, and they're also fairly rare too, so that helps out a bit. We've also got the Stormtrooper and the Net, as well as this Scout Trooper, and then we've got the Jabba's Sail Barge minifigures with the expensive Max Rebo and Slave Leia. And then inside of the Sarlacc, we of course have Boba Fett, and then we've also got some more Return of the Jedi minifigures with the diorama and the Desert Skiff Escape. And then below it, we have the Goat Bib Fortuna, as well as Ula, Jabba, Salacious Crumb, and we've also got Boosh and this Gamorrean Guard. And then we have, of course, Han Solo and Carbonite, and some more Mandalorians from various battle packs over the years. And then we've also got the Dark Trooper Attack minifigures, which is underrated set. I think it's retiring at the end of the year, or it might already be retired, I'm not sure. But anyway, below this, the Mandalorian display kind of continues. We've got minifigures from the Season 2 line of sets from the Mandalorian, and then below this we have the new Death Star Final Duel diorama minifigs, as well as the ones from the Dagobah set. And we've also got the Trash Compactor minifigures down here, as well as the old Final Duel minifigures right here. That'll be replaced by Yavin 4 soon though, but I've also got some minifigures displayed next to these UCS plaques as well, and then we have some 20th anniversary and the UCS Millennium Falcon minifigures as well. And you can see some Porgs hiding behind BB-8 back there too. And then on my very top Star Wars shelf, we've got some minifigures from the Book of Boba Fett, as well as some more from the original trilogy, and you can see R2 hiding in the X-Wing up there, and we've got some of the Hoth iterations of the protagonists in the original trilogy. You can also see the Episode 4 minifigures up there, and then there's even a pilot inside the Snowspeeder, and Luke Skywalker is attached to the AT-AT, and there's just more snowtroopers and officers, and then we've got Vader and a bunch of other minifigures that are in kind of my Imperial fleet. One of my favorites is the Wampa, and I also really like this Tauntaun too. I just recently got that, and then we've got, of course, the Imperial Shuttle minifigs and a Gonk droid, and just more Imperial stuff over here. And then you can't forget the Inquisitor Scythe minifigures. And then the final part of my Star Wars minifigure collection are actually the minifigures that come with the UCS Mos Eisley Cantina. And it's kind of hard to get a look at them, so I'll review the roof. But there's the Cantina band, and then I have also displayed a few outside of the Cantina as well, so we can see some of the side characters as well as the main characters with Han Solo and the others. And I think this is just a great display, and that's my entire Star Wars minifigure collection, probably one of the bigger parts of my minifigure collection. And I feel like I've got a few gems in there. A lot of them are very rare, some not so much, but I'm very proud of my Star Wars minifigure collection. But anyway, let's just get into the next part of the minifig collection. And so the next part of my minifigure collection actually contains my Marvel figures. And again, we'll start off by looking at the ones in the shadow box. And we have a few villains. Source at the top, my favorite's Doctor Doom. And then we've got Thanos and some of the other kind of main antagonists throughout the Marvel movies. And then we can also see the Guardians of the Galaxy on the second row. And then below them, I have some of the original Avengers from Phase 1 through 3 in here, and definitely some of my favorite minifigures. And at the very bottom I have some of the X-Men, as well as Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, a few others. And like the other shadow boxes, this one does light up as well, which I love lighting this up. It really adds a lot to the figures on display. And next up we have all of the minifigures in my bin, and of course these guys have their accessories as well. Most of them relating to my LEGO Marvel Modular City And here's what all of them look like in the bin, and then we have them all organized in rows. Definitely way more than the Star Wars minifigures. So maybe I do have more Marvel than Star Wars. I'm not too sure actually, but we start off with some of the micro figures, and then we've got Iron Man and Mysterio and a few other Iron Man suits, as well as some AIM agents, Black Widow, and some Spider-Man, as well as the Age of Ultron Scarlet Witch. And then our next row has some of the other OG Avengers, as well as some Spider-Man villains on display, as well as Hank Pym, the new Hulk minifigure, and we also got some Captain Marvels and Black Widows in there. And then this next row has like one of the OG Spider-Man from the Ultimate Spider-Man show, and then we've got just some more henchmen minifigures. I feel like the henchmen are cool, but not as cool as maybe like Electro or some of the other original lineup of Avengers, which are what we see in the next row. I've got a few Doctor Strange minifigures and even some extras from the Marvel CMF as well. And then the very back row is going to have Bucky, as well as Vulture and Thor, and yet another Doctor Strange. I don't know why I have so many Doctor Strange minifigures. And then we've also got some minifigures from the new Marvel Advent Calendars. I've collected both of the ones that they have done. That's the Guardians one, and then the first one I think was Avengers themed, which very nice. I really like the Spider-Man and his kind of jacket, and here are all of the minifigures, and of course, like we did with the Star Wars one, we're gonna knock them all down now. And then, of course, the probably the area that has the most Marvel minifigures in my collection is my city, and we start off with the Daily Bugle display, which has minifigures from the Daily Bugle, as well as a few that I have added in for my own collection. We can also see the Sanctum Sanctorum minifigures, and I added some from the Doctor Strange sets as well too, to kind of add to the display. And this got Blade and Morbius, and then some of my Spider-Verse minifigures, as well as Nova, and we've got a few other characters towards the front of the Daily Bugle. Also, can't forget about the Hobgoblin minifigure, who looks fantastic. And we've got a second version of J. Jonah, and then inside the Bugle we can see Peter Parker, as well as another J. Jonah and Betty Brant, and then the front has Green Goblin and some more Spider-Verse characters, and at the very top we can see Tobey Maguire as well as Firestar. And then in my other part of my city display we can see the Watcher, as well as Venom and Carnage, and we have some Hulk minifigures on top here, as well as Spider-Man minifigures. And what I really like about kind of this section of the display is probably one of my favorite parts is this Gwen Stacy and Captain Stacy sitting on the bench, as well as some of the Ultimate Spider-Man minifigures. And we've got Captain Marvel and Hyperion right here, and then Black Widow and Yelena getting coffee. We also can see the Guardians of the Galaxy fighting Thanos and Ebony Maw, as well as some Chitauri. And here's a better look at all of the Guardians inside of the display. And then we've got Electro and Spider-Man fighting on top of this roof, and then as well as Wolverine and Magneto. Then we can see Vulture and Falcon fighting, as well as the Thor, Love, and Thunder minifigures. Then we've got Ghost Riders playing at the Jazz Club, as well as Spider-Man fighting Zombie Cap, and then Ned and MJ are outside of the pizzeria. And then we've also got MODOK facing off against the Young Avengers that Kate Bishop is a custom I made. And then we've got Agent Coulson and Pepper and Tony all eating at a restaurant, as well as Hawkeye with a hot dog, as well as Spider-Man 2099 and Black Cat. And then I've got a few other Marvel minifigures at the very end of my city display. And then we've got Ant-Man fighting Yellow Jacket. And then another big portion of my Marvel figures is in my Marvel set displays. We've got the Quinjet minifigs, as well as Ghost Rider hiding kind of in the back here. And then we've got some Black Panther minifigures. And then I've got my Avengers Endgame minifigures, which has some from the final battle. And then we've also got some from the original Black Panther movie, as well as the Brad Thor's New Asgard minifigures. And then above this we have Wolverine and the actual complete Wave 1 of the Marvel CMF minifigures. And then we've also got the Web Warriors Bridge Battle minifigures, which has some great Marvel minifigures, probably some of the best ones that they have released, in my opinion. That Green Goblin's the best one they've ever done, and I will fight on that hill. And then also we've got a few others. And then probably one of my most proud parts of my LEGO Marvel minifigure collection is my Iron Man Hall of Armor. I have a vast majority of these suits that they've released. We've also got Obadiah just off to the side here, but definitely one of my best parts of the Marvel minifigure display. Very proud of that. I only need a few more suits. And then We also have most of the Eternals, as well as Baby Rocket and some of the Guardians from Volume 3. We also have the lineup from Infinity War, and then more of the Volume 3 minifigures. My favorite out of these guys is definitely Adam Warlock. Then we have Thor, and the final minifigure being the Mark 43 Iron Man and the Hulkbuster. And those are my Marvel minifigures. I feel like honestly they might be the most I have, since I have such a huge emphasis on my LEGO City display that I bought more for that. But I don't know, I guess we'll see at the end of the video which one I have more of. Alright, and next up in my LEGO minifigure collection, I'm going to show off my DC minifigures. A dead theme, but I still have some of the classics from the DC lineup, and I actually have two shadow boxes this time, one dedicated to the DC super villains, which has some of my favorites like Ra's al Ghul and Deathstroke, as well as Black Manta and Clock King are some great ones. And then I've got some of the Flash's Rogue Gallery, and then we've got some Superman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern minifigs, and then the bottom row is dedicated to some of my Batman minifigures. I love the Heath Ledger, as well as Batmite, and this LEGO Movie 2 Harley Quinn is great as well. And I think this would probably be my second most expensive display after the prequel Star Wars one. And then right next to it, I've got my DC Superheroes display, which has some of the Teen Titans on the top row. I love the Superboy and Starfire minifigures. And then we've got the Birds of Prey, as well as some other members of the Bat family. And then we have Katana. And then on the bottom, we have some of the members of the Justice League. I really like the Flash and Wonder Woman minifigures, as well as the Martian Manhunter. And the very bottom row has some of the Lanterns, as well as some other members of the Justice League. And this is also one of my favorite shadow boxes. Honestly, I love them all. And of course, these light up as well. And then just like the other themes that I've got, I do have a drawer full of extra DC minifigures. And here they all are, all lined up. I also have more than I thought I did for DC minifigures, but definitely not as much as the Marvels. And this first row has some of the more obscure characters. We've got like some of the LEGO Batman movie minifigures, as well as some of the ones from the DC CMF series. And then towards the back, I have some Justice League members, and then more LEGO Batman movie figures. I really like the Eraser minifigure, as well as the Batman suits. And then we also have more from the LEGO Batman movie, as well as Catwoman and some more CMFs. I like the Scarecrow and Aquaman figures in this row a lot. And then the final row has some of my Robins, and then we can see the Wonder Woman 1984 minifigures and some more Batman suits. And I think the DC minifigures are definitely a great part of my collection. And now we're going to knock these guys over too, because why not? And then, of course, I have some in my LEGO City. I've got the Justice League buying movie tickets, as well as Harley and Joker vandalizing some of the movie posters. We've also got Nightwing and Man-Bat fighting on top of the police station. And then we can see Scarecrow on this balcony, as well as Poison Ivy and Batgirl fighting. And then Catwoman is mad at Black Cat for stealing her gem. And then probably the biggest part of my DC minifigure collections and my actual sets, we've got the 89 Batmobile minifigures, as well as some from this Batboat set. We have Deathstroke, and I just got this Big Fig Killer Croc, and then we've got Batman from the Batman movie, as well as Clayface. And then we have all the minifigures from the new Batcave. I also added in the DCEU Flash minifigure inside of this display. And then I also have some of my Dark Knight minifigures displayed right here too. And then I have the classic Batman 2 Batcave with some added minifigures. I added in Catwoman and Harley Quinn to the display. And then we've got some Dark Knight Rises right here. And then the classic Batman minifigures from the original LEGO Batman theme. One of my most valuable and favorite parts of my DC collection. And then right below it, we have the Dynamic Duo Funhouse Escape minifigures. And I've also got the Arkham Asylum minifigures right next to it, one of my favorite DC sets and one of the best ones ever released. And then down here we've got more Batman, as well as Superman and Justice League sets. We can see some Wonder Womans and Lex Luthors down here. And then a new addition to my set is the Darkseid Invasion minifigures. And at the very bottom of my DC display, we have some of the Batman minifigures. And then we've got the classic TV series ones, and then the Batman Batcave minifigures as well. My favorite's probably the Riddler or the Alfred minifigure included. And then the last part is my 89 Batwing minifigures, and that's my entire LEGO DC minifigure collection, so definitely let me know what you think. I've got a couple rare ones in there. My most expensive minifigure is actually a DC minifigure, but let's get into the next section. Alright, and the next part of my LEGO minifigure collection is my LEGO Ninjago minifigures, and we have the Golden Sensei Wu, as well as a few minifigures that I have decided to display with Ninjago City Gardens. We can see some Serpentines and just some random civilians, as well as some minifigures from the Tournament of Elements season, which are some of my favorites. And towards the top we can see more of them, as well as Dareth and Skylar. And we've got some more civilians, as well as Sensei Wu and Misako. And then we've got just a random skeleton, more civilians, and some Serpentines getting ice cream. And we've got Klaus and Sensei Garmadon, as well as Kai and Nia towards the top here. We've also got Cole hidden inside this arcade, and this random ice cream guy over here. And then one of my favorite Ninjago minifigures, Pythor, as well as some skeletons and some other side characters. We've also got some of the Skybound minifigures on this big red bridge here. And then some more civilians off to the side and in the back here. And then on the second layer, I have some rebooted minifigures, and then we can see some of the ghosts from the Possession season, and we can also see Moro and Lloyd, and then we have this random girl inside the cable car, as well as some more Tournament of Elements minifigures. You can also see Dareth again. There's multiple Dareths, I guess, and we've also got Scales, as well as Lil Nelson, and we've got Zane and Jacob fighting Clancy, and then off to the back here we can see Bolobo and a few other civilians, and then there's Cole and Bloon fighting, as well as even more Serpentines. I love the Serpentine minifigures, so I like to incorporate a lot of them in my display. And then we've got some of the new minifigures from the Netflix series of Ninjago, and most of my Ninjago minifigures are in the city display, but I do have a few others in these two displays, some of the original Ninjago minifigures, and then I've got a small handful of extra ones that I don't have space for. And this first row kind of has like extras, and then we've got like some from the Stone Army season and Skybound, and then these are the new Ninjago minifigures. I don't really like these guys as much as the original ones, so I don't display them. And then we've got some Tournament of Element minifigures here as well. Definitely very small collection, and yeah, you can definitely tell I have like literally all my Ninjago figures in the city. Alright, and then the rest of my LEGO minifigure collection is kind of displayed here. We have the Home Alone minifigures on display with the Home Alone set, as well as the Ghostbusters with the Ecto-1. Also, we've got Scooby-Doo and Shaggy in my LEGO City display, and we have the minifigures from the Stranger Things Upside Down set. Also, right next to this set, I have a bunch of kind of monster minifigures with my Haunted House set. I love these guys. Some of them even glow in the dark, and they look very unique compared to other minifigures in my collection. And most of my kind of like other figures are in the skeleton head. There's a bunch of like civilians from the LEGO Creator Expert sets that I have in these bags, and yeah, I don't really display these guys at all, so that's why they're in bags. And then here's all of my extras kind of all displayed in a row. We've got some various CMF minifigures, and then some from the LEGO Movie and the Disney CMF, and then just there's like a few Ultra Agents minifigures in here, as well as some Galaxy Squad, some LEGO Chima, like various themes. And then we've also got like the LEGO Movie, another Ultra Agent minifigure right there. But this is kind of just like random themes that I don't display. I also have the Max minifigure, which is one of my more rare ones, I would say. And then we've got a few other CMFs as well, and then some more Chima back here, even some Alien Conquest, if any of y'all remember that theme. And then just literally just random minifigures. Like we've got Minecraft as well too. So this is literally just the extra, I guess. And of course we're gonna knock these down as well too, because why not? And then next up, can't forget I have my sitcom sets. So we've got all the minifigures from The Office set, as well as Seinfeld, which is my favorite sets. And then we have the Central Perk minifigures. And then finally, the last part, all of my CMF minifigures. I don't really display these guys too much. I've got some from Series 1 up until Series 15, I think. But they kind of get forgotten about. I don't really care too much about those guys. But anyway, that's my entire LEGO minifigure collection. So, what do y'all think of the minifigure collection? Do you have any of the ones I have? And even more important, do y'all have any minifigures that I don't personally have in my LEGO collection? I'd love to hear if you do. But anyway, that is all for today. Thank you all so much for watching. And yeah, appreciate all of y'all. Make sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you are new around here. And that is all for today. So peace out, y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.